Good evening, everybody. Thank you for the wonderful introduction, Amanda. As you know, my name is Joliane Laforce, and I'm the Employment Education and Training Coordinator. So I'll be outgoing, and Jessica will be your incoming coordinator. So you'll be dealing with her lots. So she's going to be sitting this session, watching in the background while I present the information to you guys. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to use the chat box or keep them for the end, as the session is being recorded. This presentation is going to be sent to you after, so you'll have all this information at your fingertips after. Okay, so let's talk about the aim of the YEP program. So first and foremost, the YEP program is an employment opportunity for youth that are between the ages of 15 and 21. It's a great way for students that are posted outcan that wouldn't necessarily have an opportunity to work in their host country to be able to get meaningful employment opportunities while their parents are posted outcan. It's also a reunification program for university students coming back to visit their families. So if they, for example, wanted to stay in Canada and get some and work because they wouldn't be able to work here, this is an opportunity for them to be able to visit their families, spend the summer with their families, while also making some money for university and to pay for some bills and expenses. So let's talk a little bit about who can apply for the YEP program. There's some criteria that need to be met, and you as the applicant, it's your responsibility to read through these the eligibility criteria very well and understand when you apply. So it's all in the registration form. You'll read through it, sign it, date it, just make sure that you're qualified. And if you still have questions, you can always reach out to your orderly room or to myself or Jessica through the positional mailbox that you'll see at the end. So the applicant is just going to make that, okay. The applicant is a dependent of Canadian Armed Forces members or a Canadian Forces sponsored support personnel stationed in Europe. The applicant cannot be a diplomatic dependent, and they cannot have dual citizenship in the country of employment and does not have dual citizenship in a non-NATO country. So for example, if you're posted to Germany and the student has dual citizenship, Germany and Canada, so you have two passports, unfortunately, you will not be able to work in Germany. So according to the CAF, you would have to fall into the dependent category. So this is something that your orderly room can assist you with if you have any questions. The age is between 15 and 21 years old. So you can be 15 when you start the program. I'll explain later as we go through the steps, but you can be 15, but you have to be 16 when you start the actual employment phase. So when you apply, you can be 15, but as long as you turn 16 by May or June, or even July, you can still work for the YEP program for that summer. And up to 21. Now, if you see here, there's an asterisk next to the 21st birthday. This is only, the exception here is Belgian, people residing in Belgium, unfortunately, are only able to participate up until their 18th birthday due to SOFA agreements with the country. And if they cannot participate, because if they do, that could result in the forfeiture of their protocol ID. So once again, that's something that through the orderly room, you would have been briefed on when you came into, when you were posted to SHAPE or Brussels. And it's unfortunate, but unfortunately our hands are tied and there's nothing we can do about that. The applicant has to be currently enrolled in full-time studies for 2021 and 2022 and must be returning to full-time studies for the next year, so 2022 to 2023. They can be enrolled either in Canada, abroad, or distance learning. So as I said earlier, the main intent of the YEP program is a reunification program for university students and their parents in Europe, and also the opportunity for teenagers and students living in Europe to gain valuable work experience while their parents are posted abroad. So because of that, the employment opportunities are reserved for students that will be physically located in Europe for the majority of the summer. Now that excludes anybody if you're going to go for a visit to your family in Canada with your parents, or you'll be on vacation in Sicily, that's totally okay. But we just expect you to be physically located in Europe for the majority of it, for logistic purposes, and also because if you are in Canada, you could be working in Canada, and we could be giving that opportunity to someone else. So if you're still not exactly clear about the eligibility requirements for the program, you can definitely talk to your local orderly room to see if this is something that they can clear up. Or, like I said, you can definitely reach out to our positional mailbox. Jessica will be happy to answer any of those questions. So once you've registered for the program, the next step will be doing our security clearance. So there is a lot of paperwork. It might seem a little bit daunting, and there seems to be a lot of paperwork. And it is important that you get this paperwork sorted out and sent to human resources in a timely manner, because failure to do so would result in a delay in your employment. So it's really important that you guys take the time to fill out this paperwork correctly, read it carefully, and submit it on time. The the applicants, so the students in this case, are responsible to make sure that you have all the documents that you will need to participate in the program. So something that we ask for, social insurance numbers, birth certificates. These are things that if you are not sure where they're located at the present, please go dig through your filing cabinet and locate, because they will eventually need to be produced. And I would rather you find out now that you're missing some documents so you can start the paperwork to get another copy, then down the road when it's basically go time. It might seem a little overwhelming, especially if you're 15, 16 years old, you're trying to juggle school, university, and this YEP program, trying to get all this paperwork sorted. I mean, I know when I applied for MFS and I was doing the paperwork, it seemed really daunting. So it's no surprise to me if anybody feels a little bit overwhelmed. So we do expect parents to help a little bit here, help them navigate, print, scan, whatever is needed, to a certain extent. So that brings me to my next point, obviously, is that there's a certain amount of youth ownership that comes along with this program. So while we do expect you guys to help out with the paperwork and the security clearances, just to make sure that everything is submitted in a timely manner and filled out correctly. If you know that your son or daughter writes like a little has chicken scratch, and human resources will not be able to read it and will have to send it back, please either type or fill it out yourself. We would be very grateful. But let's talk about youth ownership. This program is exclusively supposed to help the students. So in order to do that, we need to, as parents and me as an educator, we need to support and encourage, but also we need to take a step back and allow the students to take on this opportunity themselves. So we need to give them a chance to try to do it alone. And because of that, all of the communication and all of the assignments will be sent to the student exclusively. You're allowed to check in on them, but please make sure that they are working independently, because it's important for the child to navigate this independently. Okay, let's have a little overview of the YEP program. So the first step in this is the training program. So that runs approximately from November to April, November to March, let's say. And these are mandatory sessions or assignments that the employment coordinator will be assigning to the students, depending on what year of the program you're in. So most of you, I'm assuming tonight, are first years because you're at the information session, you'd like to learn more. So year ones will have a certain amount, some assignments, year two, and as you progress through the program, so year three and year four, if it's your third year coming back, the expectations are going to be a little bit different. Year four, same thing. So you'll see that as your child progresses through the program, or as you progress through the program, you will see that the assignments will progress with you. The application progress. So once we finish the training, we were going to go through an actual application session where you will be applying for a job, a position with MFS. So you'll be looking at job postings from employers throughout Europe, and you'll be applying and completing a screening process. So there'll be interviews, which are like real actual interviews for actual positions. So we ask everybody to take this very seriously, obviously. And moving from the application process. So once you've passed through the application process and you've been selected and a position has been assigned to you, we move on to the work experience. So this is meaningful work experience for every student that is going to get placed. They can be placed anywhere in Canada, in Europe, remotely or in on physical locations. So we have people in GK, we have people at Shape, we have employers in Brussels. Depending on where you are, we'll try to match you with your best, what you would like to, your position that you would like to work for, and also the needs of our program. So you may not necessarily get your top choice, but we definitely try to fit you in where you are going to be well utilized. And of course, this is paid summer employment, so it's a great opportunity to add a little bit of experience on your resume and also get a little bit of pocket money. The next phase is the evaluation phase. So this is once the program is done, we send out an evaluation program. It's a two-way evaluation that allows us to get a feeling of how the program went for yourself, the student, for the employers, and we take all this feedback in and we put it we kind of create a lessons learned for next year that kind of helps us continue and grow the program every year. So again, here's a bit of a timeline. As you see, October, we're having the YEP information session. So this session is being recorded and we're hoping to be able to put it on our YouTube channel very soon, in a few days, so that everybody will be able to review it, and anybody who has missed the session will be able to access it. Um, of course, if you know anybody who has teenagers that fits the eligibility criteria, please pass on the word. The more students that can participate, the better it is for you guys. It's going to be a great program, and it's really great for teenagers to have that ownership of this opportunity to be able to work and learn about how to build a resume and build a cover letter, how to do interviews. So the application, the registration is going to open on Monday. So Monday, October 15th, or is that 17th? So this Monday coming up, we'll have the application opening, and the deadline will be end of November. So the 30th of November, we'll be closing that. So if you can get all of that, the registration sent in to the positional mailbox by November 30th, that will be great. Then from November to March, as you can see, is the training and assignments. So that's basically the mandatory assignments that will be submitted, that will be sent to the participants and submitted back to the employment coordinator. So some of these assignments can be cover letter writing a resume. So they'll be creating a resume, sending it to the employment coordinator, who will review it, send it back with some points, rough drafts, and final copies. And that's just an example of one of the assignments. But there's an opportunity here for the students to obviously get great feedback on how to build their resumes and develop their skills, their soft skills. In mid-March to end of April, the jobs will be posted, and you'll have about a 2-week window to apply for positions that you are interested in. And after that, we'll be starting the interview process. So in the training and the assignments, there will be some mock interviews and training for interviews. So you're not just going to go in there. We're not going to just throw you in there completely blind. You will have some knowledge going into your applications. And of course, our employment coordinators are always there to help if you have any questions or you're feeling a little bit nervous about your interview. These are real jobs, so therefore they're real interviews. And it will be myself and one or two other board members that will sit with us that will be doing the interviews. And May through August is what we call the employment period. So if you're in university, you can start as early as May. High school will usually start in June or July. So whenever they finish their school, and that will be your employment period. So it's approximately an 8-week window for you to be working in that position. All the positions are going to be done by end of August. And then in September, we'll be doing the evaluation and just preparing for the next year. So that is, in a nutshell, what your YEP program will look like. Of course, we understand that students have jobs or have extracurriculars and have school projects. So we try to work around that as best as possible, exams. But at the end of the day, it is extra work, but you'll never, we try to not overwhelm anybody. So if it's something that you feel a little bit nervous about, please shoot us a message and we can definitely talk about the workload. So the training, which is the first phase of the program, as I said earlier, depending on your year in the program, the assignments will vary. Some of them will be very similar and some of them will be different. So for example, the first assignment this year will be the same for everybody because it's a new assignment and everybody needs the opportunity to be able to do it to get their an idea of what this assignment is about. Resume writing, interview prep, mock interviews, these are all examples of assignments that you'll encounter this year. The assignments, of course, have to be submitted in a timely manner to ensure that you can continue with the program. If we're continuously having to email you or remind you that your assignments are due and you're never sending them in a timely manner, it is possible that we stop the training and you will not be able to participate in the YEP program. So accountability is a big thing with this program, of course. So the skill application phase is once you have successfully completed all of the training and mandatory sessions with the YEP uh, employment coordinator, you will then be invited to apply for positions and interview for positions. So as I had said, these positions are available across Europe with a variety of employers. Um, and while there's no guarantee of employment, we do try to place everyone as best as possible. Okay, and phase 3 is the work experience. So that runs from May to August. And as I had said before, it's a very great opportunity for students to gain that meaningful experience working in a position that they may not have an opportunity to work in if had they been in Canada. So instead of working at McDonald's or in a fast food chain, they might be working with the PSP in Brussels, working on program coordination or creating marketing for our community or our communications coordinator. So there's a lot of really cool opportunities for students to find their niche. So last year, for example, we had someone working with the child and youth coordinator. We had someone working with a PSP in Naples. We had someone in Galenkirchen working at transport. So these are traffic. These are all things that you could do. Orderly rooms. We have a variety of employers and there's really something for everybody. So when you see the positions, you compare what you'd like to do, you can apply. There's such a variety of it. So it's really interesting. It's about 8-week placements. So like I said, from either May, depending on when you finish your high school or your school, you can either start in May, in June, or beginning of July. There's part-time and full-time opportunities depending on the needs of your employers and what your students, what you yourself are looking at for work. Of course, vacation time is possible. It's not going to be paid vacation time, but if you would like to take some time to go to Croatia with your family, that's something that can be arranged. You just have to let your employer know. And finally, the phase 4, which is the evaluation. So it runs from August to September. Throughout the program, we try to provide continuous feedback from your supervisors to yourself. And if there's any issues that need to be brought up, this is something that we try to have continuous communication. You'll have active supervision. So depending on where you're working, if you're working remotely, it's going to be a little bit more autonomous work. However, if you're working in the orderly room let's say in Brussels, you'll have a supervisor who will be there to guide you through your day-to-day activities and help you get set up and started. So it's a two-way evaluation. So your supervisor will be doing an evaluation, and you yourself, the participant, will be doing an evaluation. And these evaluations are um, essential for us to be able to gauge where the program goes in the future. So obviously, your feedback is taken into consideration as we move forward. So this is just a basically a screenshot of your phases again. So we've got the training, the application process, the work experience, and the evaluation. I'm not going to go into too much detail because we've just talked about it, but essentially that's what you're looking at. Okay, and that concludes the program, the presentation of the information session. So if anybody has any questions, obviously you can put them in the chat box. We'll be opening up the floor for questions shortly here, but you can also reach out to us at this positional mailbox. Amanda will be putting that in the chat room as well. And just another little thing here is we do have a YouTube channel, and we've got loads of resources and helpful videos on there that you guys should check out. We have an employment and education playlist actually dedicated to all the videos that have come out on employment and education. So we have how to write a cover letter, how to apply for, how to prepare for job interviews. So there's tons of stuff there that you can even now start looking at if you're interested.